A value chain is a chain of activities that a firm operating in a specific industry performs in order to deliver a valuable product or service for the market. The concept comes from business management and was first described and popularized by Michael Porter in his 1985 bestseller, Competitive Advantage: Creating and Sustaining Superior Performance. The idea of the value chain is based on the process view of organizations, the idea of seeing a manufacturing organization as a system, made up of subsystems each with inputs, transformation processes and outputs. Inputs, transformation processes, and outputs involve the acquisition and consumption of resources, money, labor, materials, equipment, buildings, land, administration and management. How value chain activities are carried out determines costs and affects profits. The concept of value chains as decision support tools was added on to the competitive strategies paradigm developed by Porter as early as 1979. In Porter's value chains, inbound logistics, operations, outbound logistics, marketing and sales and service are categorized as primary activities. Secondary activities include procurement, human resource management, technological development and infrastructure. According to the OECD Secretary-General, the emergence of global value chains in the late 1990s provided a catalyst for accelerated change in the landscape of international investment and trade, with major, far-reaching consequences on governments as well as enterprises. Global value chains. Cross-border/cross-region value chains. Often multinational enterprises developed global value chains, investing abroad and establishing affiliates that provided critical support to remaining activities at home. To enhance efficiency and to optimize profits, multinational enterprises locate research, development, design, assembly, production of parts, marketing and branding activities in different countries around the globe. MNEs offshore labor-intensive activities to China and Mexico, for example, where the cost of labor is the lowest. Gura at 2012, the emergence of global value chains in the late 1990s provided a catalyst for accelerated change in the landscape of international investment and trade, with major, far-reaching consequences on governments as well as enterprises. Gura at 2012, global value chains in development. Through global value chains, there has been growth in interconnectedness as MNEs play an increasingly larger role in the internationalization of business. In response, governments have cut corporate income tax rates or introduced new incentives for research and development to compete in this changing geopolitical landscape. LeBlanc al. 6. In a development context, the concepts of global value chain analysis were first introduced in the 1990s, have gradually been integrated into development policy by the World Bank, UNCTAD, the OECD and others. Value chain analysis has also been employed in the development sector as a means of identifying poverty reduction strategies by upgrading along the value chain. Although commonly associated with export-oriented trade, development practitioners have begun to highlight the importance of developing national and intra-regional chains in addition to international ones. For example, the International Crops Research Institute for the Semi-Arid Tropics has investigated strengthening the value chain for sweet sorghum as a biofuel crop in India. Its aim in doing so was to provide a sustainable means of making ethanol that would increase the incomes of the rural poor, without sacrificing food and fodder security, while protecting the environment. Firm level. The appropriate level for constructing a value chain is the business unit, not division or corporate level. Products pass through activities of a chain in order, and at each activity the product gains some value. The chain of activities gives the products more added value than the sum of added values of all activities. The activity of a diamond cutter can illustrate the difference between cost and the value chain. The cutting activity may have a low cost, but the activity adds much of the value to the end product, since a rough diamond is significantly less valuable than a cut diamond. Typically, the described value chain and the documentation of processes, assessment and auditing of adherence to the process routines are at the core of the quality certification of the business, for example ISO 9001. Activities. The value chain categorizes the generic value-adding activities of an organization. The activities considered under this product-service enhancement process can be broadly categorized under two major activity sets. Physical traditional value chain, a physical world activity performed in order to enhance a product or a service. Such activities evolved over time by the experience people gained from their business conduct. As the will to earn higher profit drives any business, professionals practice these to achieve their goal. Virtual value chain. The advent of computer-based business-aided systems in the modern world has led to a completely new horizon of market space in modern business jargon, the cyber market space. Like any other field of computer application, here also we have tried to implement our physical world's practices to improve this digital world. All activities of persistent physical world's physical value chain enhancement process, which we implement in the cyber market, are in general terms referred to as a virtual value chain. In practices of 2013, no progressive organization can afford to remain stuck to any one of these value chains. In order to cover both market spaces, organizations need to deploy their very best practices in both of these spaces to churn out the most informative data, which can further be used to improve the ongoing product services or to develop some new product service. Hence organizations today try to employ the combined value chain. Combined value chain equals physical values shown in sample below. A good look at this value chain matrix indicates that there are a number of locations in any business process to add value or to improve the process, which in turn will help in saving money and time while improving the performance. The basic idea is the same age-old concept of utilizing the input of information, whatever the source. A firm's value chain forms a part of a larger stream of activities, which Porter calls a values system. A values system, or an industry value chain, includes the suppliers that provide the inputs necessary to the firm along with their value chains. After the firm creates products, these products pass through the value chains of distributors, all the way to the customers. All parts of these chains are included in the values system. To achieve and sustain a competitive advantage, and to support that advantage with information technologies, a firm must understand every component of this values system. Industry level. An industry value chain is a physical representation of the various processes involved in producing goods, starting with raw materials and ending with the delivered product. It is based on the notion of value added at the link level. The sum total of link level value added yields total value. The French physiocrat's tableau à copyright économique is one of the earliest examples of a value chain. Boisseley-Leontief's input-output tables, published in the 1950s, provide estimates of the relative importance of each individual link in industry-level value chains for the U.S. economy. Significance. The value chain framework quickly made its way to the forefront of management thought as a powerful analysis tool for strategic planning. The simpler concept of value streams, a cross-functional process which was developed over the next decade, had some success in the early 1990s. The value chain concept has been extended beyond individual firms. It can apply to whole supply chains and distribution networks. The delivery of a mix of products and services to the end customer will mobilize different economic factors, each managing its own value chain. The industry-wide synchronized interactions of those local value chains create an extended value chain, sometimes global in extent. Porter terms this larger interconnected system of value chains the values system. A values system includes the value chains of a firm's supplier, the firm itself, the firm distribution channels, and the firm's buyers. Capturing the value generated along the chain is the new approach taken by many management strategists. For example, a manufacturer might require its parts suppliers to be located nearby its assembly plant to minimize the cost of transportation. By exploiting the upstream and downstream information flowing along the value chain, the firms may try to bypass the intermediaries creating new business models, or in other ways create improvements in its values system. Value chain analysis has also been successfully used in large petrochemical plant maintenance organizations to show how work selection, work planning, work scheduling and finally work execution can help drive lean approaches to maintenance. The maintenance value chain approach is particularly successful when used as a tool for helping change management, as it is seen as more user-friendly than other business process tools. A value chain approach could also offer a meaningful alternative to evaluate private or public companies when there is a lack of publicly known data from direct competition, where the subject company is compared with, for example, a known downstream industry to have a good feel of its value by building useful correlations with its downstream companies. SCOR, the Supply Chain Council, a global trade consortium in operation with over 700 member companies, governmental, academic, and consulting groups participating in the last 10 years, manages the supply chain operations reference, the de facto universal reference model for supply chain including planning, procurement, manufacturing, order management, logistics, returns, and retail. Product and service design including design planning, research, prototyping, integration, launch and revision, and sales including CRM, service support, sales, and contract management, which are congruent to the Porter framework. The SCOR framework has been adopted by hundreds of companies as well as national entities as a standard for business excellence, and the U.S. Department of Defense has adopted the newly launched Design Chain Operations Reference Framework for product design as a standard to use for managing their development processes. In addition to process elements, these reference frameworks also maintain a vast database of standard process metrics aligned to the Porter model, as well as a large and constantly researched database of prescriptive universal best practices for process execution. Value Reference Model. A value reference model developed by the trade consortium Value Chain Group offers a proprietary information model for value chain management, encompassing the process domains of product development, customer relations and supply networks. The integrated process framework guides the modeling, design, and measurement of business performance by uniquely encompassing the plan, govern and execute requirements for the design, product, and customer aspects of business. The Value Chain Group claims VRM to be next-generation business process management that enables value reference modeling of all business processes and provides product excellence, operations excellence, and customer excellence. 6 business functions of the value chain: research and development, design of products, services, or processes, production, marketing and sales, distribution. This guide to the right provides the levels 1 to 3 basic building blocks for value chain configurations. All Level 3 processes in VRM have input-output dependencies, metrics and practices. The VRM can be extended to levels 4 to 6 via the extensible reference model schema. See also. References. Further reading, Raphael Kaplinsky. Mike Morris. IA Handbook for Value Chain Research I. International Development Research Center. http www.globalvaluechains.org Chnov 01 PDF. Retrieved September 9, 2013. External links, media related to value chain diagrams at Wikimedia Commons, using a value chain analysis in project management, the global value chain approach to trade, Part 1, some historic context and a first-hand account of negotiating the WTO Doha Development Agenda, a Part 2, a trade negotiator explains the raison d'etre of the global value chain approach to trade and its rise to prominence in the WTO, a Part 3, developed and developing countries need to move away from the global value chain approach to trade to a more sustainable, fairer and more stable view of production and job creation. Faisal Ismail, The Real News Network.